This is Jeremy Wentworth-Stanley. I'm the fellow who has a hyphen in my name. The hyphen is silent, but I am anything but that. This mini-podcast is brought to you by Respectonomics, and the subject is the art of thanking. And there are 4 parts to it. The first one is, when we give thanks, we are doing so externally. In a way, that's rather obvious because the word thank you is taking us out of ourselves into somebody else's life. But the advantage of thinking externally is, first of all, it helps to remove the inner sense of inner acknowledgement and self-interest and so on. So we are able to project to the other individual by saying thank you. It's an external activity. The second part to it, though, is thank you has a distinctive difference from please. Please operates on the premise of it will please me. Thanking you does 2 things. One we've discussed already, which is the external thanking, but it also does something very important, and that is expresses confidence in the other individual. My favorite example is someone says, "I'll take you to the airport," and I rightly say, "Thank you." That thank you is not only recognizing the gift and its imminence, but it's also recognizing the confidence I have in that individual to drive safely, get me there on time, and you know what, get me to the right terminal. So in other words, when we thank somebody, we are building them up, we are giving them confidence and expressing it. Now the second part is this, though, that if I am going to give thanks, I need to look at my human frame. My human frame is made up of body, mind, and soul. It is a tripartite connection and in fact forms the central theme to Respectonomics: body, mind, and soul. But if I'm going to give thanks, I need to do so in those 3 contexts, those 3 levels. I need to do so bodily, meaning I am giving my thanks in a physical manner. The activity of saying thank you on the back of an envelope or through some social media is not as powerful, quite often not even honest, as a thank you that is bodily made. It also applies, of course, to our mind. If our mind is authentic and sincere, and we are grateful and we are appreciative, that will be reflected in the tone and the delivery of our thanks. And the last part of it is the soul. Because when one human soul responds to another human soul, that is when we get that connectivity that is beyond compare. It is the deepest human relationship we can have, soul to soul. And a powerful instrument to bring about that connection is thanking someone else. I thank you for listening. That is an opportunity for a soul to speak to and hear from another soul. And if I'm going to talk about body, mind, and spirit, or soul, I also can do so in the sense of the gratitude within myself. Most of us were brought up with the lines of you ought to be grateful and you ought to be thankful. But looking at yourself internally, to thank for the internal workings of one's body, to thank for the internal workings of one's mind, and to thank for the presence, the existence of that great mystery, the soul itself. When we become grateful to our own inner being and our own selves, when we recognize that sense of gratitude, that is a sense that we will reflect to other people, and we will do so authentically and sincerely. You might say the internal becomes external. The last thing is this. I'm throwing down the gauntlet here. We think of expressing thanks in a manner of where I would say, thank you for my donut, or thank you for having me around last night. But the thank you that I'm throwing the gauntlet down is this one. The Chief Executive Officer just received a bonus of that year of $10 million. Did that Chief Executive Officer project himself in body, mind, and spirit, physically in other words, to the shareholders, the employees, the customers, and the suppliers to say, I have received this remarkable gift, and I want to thank you individually and collectively for making it possible. This is Jeremy Wentworth-Stanley, and I rest my case.